Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mackenzie for those who are new here, and I make videos basically talking about whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. And this week I feel like talking about the downloads I've been receiving while working in the garden. I'm actually at the farm today. My boyfriend and I, we have a little piece of farmland that we're farming. Him and his brother have been working a lot on it, and it's looking really good. But me personally, I have my garden at home that I work on every single day, and the downloads that I receive when I'm in that flow state, like working with nature, is actually insane. And also, look at this peach. Honey baby. You know what I mean? So good. Juicy California peaches, you guys. Fucking fire. So anyways, I'm watering the garden, right? And I was thinking to myself about how people always want to talk about manifestation, planting the seeds, you know, and bringing things into their life that they want to bring into their life, whatever they're trying to manifest, whatever they're praying for, whatever they're journaling about, whatever they're making vision boards about, you know. And I used to make this mistake in the past where it's like I would want to plant the seed and then that's it. Like in the past, I really thought that I could just plant the seed metaphorically, right, in my life and just wait. But I had this download in the garden where I feel like that's like the same thing a lot of people think, that you can just like plant the seed and then be chilling, when it's like the amount of work I put into the garden is pretty extensive. I have to amend the soil, right? I have to make sure that the soil is fertile before I even plant that seed. And before I even put that seed I direct sow some things, but most things I'm planting in little plant cells, like little trays, for them to get like this big and then transplant them to like this big and then transplant them again. And I feel like people like want to skip over all these steps in their life when they're trying to manifest something. They're just like, oh, I can just like plant the seed and then like forget about it. You are sorely mistaken. Yeah, it just occurred to me when I was in the garden, I was like, the garden is literally life. Like life is literally the garden. Those two things are so connected. So it's like, yeah, months ago I planted these seeds, but the amount of work that has gone into nurturing those seeds is actually insane. Like, the forces of nature is what's growing these plants, right? It's not me. I'm just tending to the garden. The forces of nature, the power that be is what is going to grow this plant and therefore grow the food, right? So it's like true to an extent that you can just plant the seed and just trust and surrender, and your fruit will be fruitful, right? Well, true to an extent, but did you amend your soil? Was your soil fertile before you were planting that seed? Do you just plant your seed and forget about it? If I did that, my seedlings would die. I have to water them every day, right? Like we have to be like actually tending to our things that we're wanting in our life as we are like tending to a garden. Like if you want to like buy a house or something, just for a plain old Jane old example, like if you want to buy a house, you can't just be like, hi universe, I'd like to buy a house. Universe is like, cool, yeah, I already knew that. Everyone needs shelter, duh. But no, for real. Like, if you just say to the universe and plant that seed, like, I want to buy a house. Yeah, sure. If it's for you, and it's going to happen eventually. But are you tending to that seed? Are you tending to your garden? Are you doing all of the things every single day in your life garden that you need to do to actually nurture that seed? Are you doing research that you need to do on how to get a home loan? Are you saving money? Are you working that second job to save the extra money for that? You know what I mean? That's just a very vague example, but that's how life is, and that's how the garden is. It's like, when I plant a seed, I have to plant it, yes, in fertile soil that I amended. And for those of you who aren't gardeners, amending the soil literally just means to put like fertilizers and things in the soil. Like for me personally, I use chicken shit and chicken eggshells, mainly. But you got to make sure that you got a solid foundation, right? Before you're even planting that seed. Like, are you good with you? Like, is your soil fertile before you're even planting that seed? That's what you got to be asking yourself. And then you got to plant that seed, right? But then after you plant that seed, it's going to get about this tall and need transplanting. Because if you don't transplant it, its growth is going to get stunted. And that's kind of like the comfort zone, right? So you got these little trays that your seeds are in, right? They're only this deep. That plant's gonna outgrow that real fucking quick within like a month or so. And you're gonna need to transplant it into a bigger container. And that's kind of like yourself. Are you transplanting yourself into a bigger container? Like, or are you staying small? And are you stunting your own growth? And are you staying inside of that container that's too small for you? Are you surrounding yourself with people who are keeping you in that small state? Transplant yourself. That's what I had to do. I had to transplant myself to a whole nother fucking state, guys. I had to transplant myself out of state. Like, life is literally the garden, I'm telling you. So yeah, I had to transplant myself out of state, right? And as soon as I moved, I started to flourish, right? But I'm going to need to be transplanted again, right? And eventually I'll be older and transplanted into like the garden, right? Which is like the main goal. Like, I usually do 2 transplants before my actual little seedlings go into the garden. I'll do a transplant when the plant's about this tall, and another transplant when the plants are about this tall. And then the 3rd transplant, they're actually going into the actual garden itself. But then it doesn't stop there, y'all. Like, I transplanted them into the garden, right? Then after that, there's still a bunch of work to do. You got to make sure, again, like, you're watering every day. And here in California, it's been like 90s and 100s and, you know, degrees. So like, if I don't water early in the morning before the sun gets hot and at night before I go to bed, guess what? My plants are wilting. And that's like your life. Like, are you tending to your manifestations as I tend to a garden, or as you tend to your garden? That's what we need to be on. So yeah, once I transplant my plants into the garden, they still need to be watered morning and night. I top my plants. I do things to help my plants be fruitful. Like, when my plants first start to flower, I actually pick those flowers off because I want my plant to focus on its growth first. I want it to focus on getting taller and being more of a plant before it starts fruiting. And that's another thing. You could take that and apply it to your life. Like, are you trying to flower too soon? Are you trying to like get to your goal before you're ready for your goal? Or do you need to grow more before you get that goal? And the goal being the fruit, the goal being you reaching your manifestation, right? So like, for me, it's like, I know that if I pick those flowers off of my plants in my garden early, when my plants are short, that's going to take all of their energy and put it more into the plant instead of the flower that's making the fruit, right? So now all this energy is going into the plant itself. Plant's going to get bigger. When the plant's bigger, it's going to produce more food eventually if the plant's bigger. And so yeah, I pluck the flowers off first. I focus on my growth. I focus on my plant growing, and then it's going to get bigger, and then it's going to have even more flowers down the road. So yeah, that's kind of like sacrifices too in life. You can apply that to like sacrifices. Sometimes you got to pluck off a little bit of flowers here and there, and those are like the sacrifices you're making because you know that that's going to aid in your growth and eventually be more fruitful literally on that plant. Yeah, if you're a gardener, you know these little like tips and tricks that you can do to like make your plants produce more. And one of those is like plucking off flowers early so that it focuses on the actual growth of the plant, so that it actually flowers more down the road and makes more food later. And yeah, it's like, sometimes it's like you could have your fruit now, but it might not be as much fruit, if you catch my drift. So yeah, the whole point of me making this video is eventually you'll get to your fruit, right? But all of the tending that goes into the process of getting said piece of fruit is going to take a while. And a lot of people just want to plant the seed and forget about it. But that's not how this shit works, man. That's not how this shit works. You got to plant that seed, and then you got to tend to it and care for it and actually apply yourself as well. Like, I used to be in that realm where I used to think that, oh, I could just manifest stuff by thinking about it. Yeah, sure, to an extent. But we were given bodies and minds and a human person to like do the work, like do the gardening. It's part of the human experience. So don't avoid it, enjoy it. And I hope you guys got a little insight from this video. You know, working in the garden really gives you a lot of insights. Just being close with nature will really bring you a lot of insights. Like, we are nature, nature's with us. If you ever have a question, look to nature. Is it in nature? Yes or no? You know, like, look to nature and you will find all the answers to everything you will ever need. yeah, so I just really hope that you guys realize that it's not just about planting the seed. You guys got to tend to your gardens. And I hope that that helps you be fruitful. This is a perfect video for the summer solstice that's happening right now. We just had that strawberry full moon. I hope and I pray that all of you guys tend to your gardens, tend to the garden in your heart, tend to the garden in your mind, tend to your physical garden so you can get this yummy piece of fruit. And yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. It's not a very long one. I post every week. Don't forget to subscribe. My video content's gonna be getting even better, and the quality is gonna be getting even better when I get a new camera soon and all that. That's why I've been recording in the car a lot, because of the lighting and whatever. But yeah, I hope that you guys love this video. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you got a little nugget of information. And comment down below if you're a gardener and you have gotten downloads like this when you're in the flow state caring for your garden. Drop those down below. This is a community I want you guys to really like, don't be afraid to speak on your downloads that you get. Talk about them, you know, share this with each other, because the more we can share these with each other and lift each other up, the better. Anyways, much love, peace. I'm gonna finish my peach. You guys have a great day. Bye.